The camera world is about to shift on its axis. And if you think the original Z9 was a powerhouse, you haven't seen anything yet. Welcome back to Tap Tech. Today, we are pulling back the curtain on the most anticipated professional tool of the decade, the Nikon Z9 II. This isn't just a spec bump. It is Nikon's definitive answer to Sony's global shutter and Canon's flagship dominance. With the recent acquisition of Red Digital Cinema, Nikon is no longer playing by the old rules. In this video, we're breaking down the leaked internal specs, the secret Red integration, and the one feature that might finally make the mechanical shutter a distant memory for every professional on the planet. You'll want to stay until the very end, because we have a confirmed release window that aligns perfectly with a major global event. And it's much sooner than you think. Asterisk, the original Nikon Z9 was a legendary turning point. It was the first flagship to ditch the mechanical shutter entirely. A move so bold it forced every other manufacturer to rethink their entire roadmap. But in the years since its release, the competition has caught up. Sony dropped the A9 III with its world-first global shutter, and Canon is refining its R1 flagship. Nikon's response? The Z9 II. Let's start with the heart of the beast, the sensor. Rumors from the inner circles of the industry suggest Nikon is testing two distinct paths for the Z9 II. The first is a refined 45.7 megapixel stacked CMOS sensor. Similar to the original, but with a readout speed so fast it effectively mimics a global shutter. The second and more exciting rumor is a jump to a 61 megapixel higher resolution stacked sensor. Why does this matter? Because Nikon wants to bridge the gap between the speed of a sports camera and the detail of a landscape camera. Imagine shooting 40 frames per second in full RAW at 60 megapixels. That is a data throughput that would melt most modern computers. Which brings us to the brain of the operation, the Expeed 8 processor. The Expeed 8 isn't just a marginal upgrade. It is a fundamental redesign focused on one thing: artificial intelligence. We've seen Sony lead the way with dedicated AI processing units, but Nikon is reportedly integrating this tech directly into the Expeed 8 architecture. This means the Z9 II won't just detect a bird or a car. It will use deep learning algorithms to anticipate subject movement based on years of analyzed data. If a football player turns their head or a bird dives behind a branch, the Z9 II is designed to keep that focus locked on the eye, predicting where it will reappear. This isn't just autofocus, it's professional-grade telepathy. Now, let's talk about the red elephant in the room. When Nikon acquired Red Digital Cinema, the industry gasped. We are now seeing the first fruits of that marriage in the Z9 II. Sources indicate that the Z9 II will be the first Nikon body to feature native REDCODE RAW integration. We aren't just talking about on RAW anymore. We're talking about the industry-standard R3D files being recorded internally. The video specs are looking absolutely monstrous. 8K at 120 frames per second. Let that sink in for a second. That is cinema-grade high-speed footage in 8000 resolution, inside a weather-sealed mirrorless body. We're also hearing whispers of 4K at a staggering 240 frames per second for ultra-slow motion that maintains professional bit depth and color science. For the pros working in the field, ergonomics are everything. The Z9 was already a tank. The Z9 II is expected to shave off some weight while actually improving heat dissipation. One of the biggest complaints with high-end video is thermal throttling. Nikon is reportedly implementing a new active-passive, a hybrid cooling system that will allow for unlimited 8K 6OP recording in almost any environment. On the back, expect to see the 4-axis tilting screen make a return, but with a much higher resolution panel, potentially borrowed from the latest Z6 III tech, making it easier to pull focus in bright daylight. Speaking of visibility, the electronic viewfinder is getting a massive overhaul. The current Z9 EVF is great, but it's 3.7 million dots. The Z9 II is rumored to jump to a 9 million dot old blackout-free viewfinder. This will provide a view so clear and so fluid, it will be indistinguishable from an optical finder, but with all the benefits of digital overlays. This is crucial for sports photographers who need to track a 100-mile-per-hour fastball without even a microsecond of lag. Then there is the question of connectivity. In a world where content is king and speed to market is everything, the Z9 II is expected to feature Wi-Fi 7 and a dedicated 5G transmitter built right into the chassis. For agency photographers at the Olympics or the Super Bowl, this means your images could be in an editor's hands across the world before the player has even finished their victory lap. But what about the price and the release date? This is where the strategy gets interesting. Nikon typically aligns its flagship releases with the Olympic cycle. With the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan Cortina fast approaching, all signs point to a development announcement in late 2025, with a full commercial release in early 2026. As for the price, the Z9 was famous for its aggressive $5,500 launch price, which undercut the competition significantly. However, with the inclusion of RED technology and the jump in processing power, insiders are expecting a slight bump. Expect the Z9 II to land somewhere around the $5,999 to $6,200 range. For a camera that essentially replaces a $15,000 cinema rig and a $6,000 sports body, that is still the bargain of the century. The big question you're probably asking is, should I wait? If you currently own a Z9, the Mark II is going to be a tempting siren song, especially if you find yourself pushing the limits of the current autofocus or video codecs. If you're a Sony or Canon shooter looking for a reason to switch, the RED integration alone might be the killer app that brings you over to the yellow and black camp. Nikon isn't just building a camera here. They are building a legacy. Asterisk the Nikon Z9 II, shaping up to be more than just a camera. It's a statement that Nikon is here to dominate the next decade of professional imaging. But what do you think? Does the addition of RED RAW make this a must-buy for you? Or is the 8K 12op just overkill? Let us know in the comments below. We read every single one. If you found this breakdown helpful, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed to Tap Tech with notifications turned on. We'll be covering every single leak leading up to the official launch, and you don't want to miss a single update. Until next time, keep shooting and stay tech-savvy.